This isn't just another podcast. We're crushing the taboos and we're rewriting the rules. It's the space where we normalize women becoming wealthy. If you're done playing small and ready to become the CEO of your life and the architect of your future, then my girl, you're in the right room. Welcome to your wealthy era. Welcome to the Wellthy CEO podcast.
Today's conversation is all about expanding your relationship with wealth, identity, and abundance. I'm joined by Danielle Amos, also known as the Mystic Millionaire Mentor. Danielle is a mindset and manifestation expert and a former protege of Bob Proctor. Through her work, she helps ambitious women rewire their beliefs around wealth, step into their highest potential, and embody abundance as their birthright. In this episode, we're diving into the mindset shifts required to create true wealth, the power of identity, and how women can align strategy with energetic leadership to unlock their next level. And at the end, Danielle has a special invitation for an incredible event that she is hosting this April with a special discount code just for you. Let's get into it. I am so excited to have you, Danielle, here today on the Wellthy CEO podcast. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Shae. It's an honor. Hello, everybody.
So I'm so excited to have this conversation with you because I really feel that there's so many brilliant women in business, in entrepreneurship, that they kind of feel stuck between where they are and where they know that they really can be and should be, kind of like that intersection of I'm made for more, but I don't know how to get there. And I feel icky. I'm stuck with where I am. And so I'm really excited to dive in with you today around like mindset and identity and manifestation. And so I thought for those that maybe, don't know you, let's start with the story behind your work, your origin story of how you came to be.
Yeah, thank you. And I love the description of where probably a lot of the listeners find themselves, where they know they're made for more. For me, I can so resonate with that. And I remember thinking, I know I'm made for more, but I can't imagine working any harder than what I already do. So how is it going to happen? And because I couldn't see it, I found myself settling, to be honest.
Right.
So yeah. I love this too. So thank you. My story is that I knew I had that feeling I was also made for more. I was in a corporate job that was very successful. I was the director of product development for an Ontario organization in food tourism. So I was like the top of the top, because there was myself and the president of the company. And I had this dream to do something on my own, but I had no entrepreneurs in my family. And so at that time, network marketing was introduced to me. And I said yes. I thought that this would be a great segue into becoming an entrepreneur. And I really could see how I could easily replace my income. And I loved network marketing, and I'd still be in it if they probably didn't have me choose. The company had me choose between becoming a coach. So I said yes right away, and everyone around me thought I was crazy. This is like probably 15 years ago now.
Okay.
And I assumed I'd go right to the top of the company because I already had a successful career. I had a great network. Everyone said that I was they would ask, if you asked them, they would say Danielle was confident. Well, I fell flat on my face, 2.5 years of knocking on doors, getting lots of no's, hosting parties. I didn't do very well. And I started to think something's wrong with me. Like, I was reading all these books on leadership and development. And so I did what any logical leader would do when she decides that she doesn't have enough time, and that's the reason why she's not successful. She quit her job. 6 figures just in one day gone, and my expenses didn't change. And I honestly, I thought it was a really good idea. I was like, all I need is more time on this business, and nothing much changed. I found myself in $100,000, over $100,000 in credit card debt very quickly, using one credit card to pay off another, a very angry husband. And I started drinking to sleep at night because I was so worried. What am I going to do? And at that time, I prayed for an answer, and my mom dragged me to a Bob Proctor seminar. I was so resistant. I was like, I know what he's saying. I've read the book, Think and Grow Rich. Like, come on. I sat at the back of the room with my arms crossed, and he said one thing. He said, if your results always tell the truth. If they're not what you want, you don't fully understand. You don't have awareness. And he said, your way's not working. Why not try mine? And it felt like a punch in the gut because I had every excuse as to why I wasn't successful. My husband didn't believe in me. My friends didn't buy from me. The economy was crap. All these things outside of me. And he said,
Right.
that's not the reason. It's you.
Hmm.
So I borrowed 3 credit cards to and get the down payment for his program. And I jumped in and I did that program like my life depended on it. I tripled my income within 6 months. I just got shivers. I tripled my income within 6 months, started winning the company awards, the
Wow.
trips, the cars, all the things. It was like overnight. And all I did was change my inside world. Now, I say it lightly, and it's not easy. And though, after struggling for so many years to then understand mindset, self image, energetics, it was like a huge light bulb moment for me. Changed my
Hmm.
life.
Wow. So powerful. Like, what an incredible story and journey. How long did you how long was your program with Bob Proctor?
It was at that time, it was 6 months, and it's still the program that I coach. It's part of my year-long program because
Okay.
it's guaranteed. So it's actually like we guarantee you'll double your investment or we'll pay you double. Like, there's so much science behind it. It's if you follow it's a system, and he goes to the root cause of why someone creates we get the results we get, and that's your paradigm or your subconscious mind, and he spent 60 years studying the mind. So there's a lot of mechanics and stuff behind it. So I still use it because I like the guarantee part of it. Um, yeah, it 6 months. And then I decided to become a coach because I was like, okay, wait a minute. Like there are so many other women in my company that are struggling like I am. If I can teach them the same thing, then we're all going to be better. And so I started attracting people that were also interested in mindset. My team just blew up. Like they're all using this work now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. So when you think of what you learned on the inside, and you brought it up earlier just now, talking about the subconscious, is there a commonality where there's a pattern that you see that's the most common subconscious block that really, I'm going to say, keeps high performing women from stepping into their next level?
Yeah, I would say, this paradigm, this belief that you need to work hard for success. So it sabotages us in so many different ways. One is if something comes easily to you because you're in alignment and you're a vibrational match for it, I find women sabotage that. Like it was too easy and then they don't feel like they deserve it.
Right.
So they'll do other things to so it doesn't stick, whether that's more money or a client. So that piece, and then or if they will continue to work as hard as they possibly can to burn out just to prove that they're worthy of the success that they're getting.
As one of the common subconscious blocks that you see.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's like before women have success, they have that block and they will work their butt off or it's hard for them to get into their feminine and even like visualize the success and to receive it because they don't like they keep thinking that they're not doing enough. And that force, like anytime you force, it negates. And so that blocks them. But then, even when they've had success or even attracted something into their life, that it may not even be all the success they're looking for, but they'll then sabotage that once they've attracted it so that it doesn't stick. And it's fascinating because it goes back to this paradigm that so many of us have bought into is like simply hard work equals success. But it's not true.
I just feel like what you're talking about is so important.
Mm.
Literally, like as you're speaking, I can tell you of like 3 current examples. Like one of my best girlfriends, she's an incredible mom, and she is really identifying and understanding that this is exactly what you just said has been and is her block. That it needs to be hard in order to feel earned
Yeah.
and warranted. And she's done so many different things outside of her zone of genius because that's harder, right? Like it's hard when
Mm.
it's not your zone of genius versus stepping into your zone of genius and it's joyful and there's ease and like there's passion and like there's still stress, but it's like positive stress at
Well,
that point. Um, and so, yeah, I definitely resonate with that block because I hear it often. And I mean, I've even gone through it myself, like, as an entrepreneur and being in business and I think so much too, we're shifting right now as a culture with women. And I love this because the last really 10 years, hustle culture, right, has been glorified. It's been something that's sought after and that like if you're not doing that, like, it's not even that the success component, but it's almost like, "Wow, look at her. She is so busy and doing all of these things and, like, the hours that you put in, blah, blah, blah." And now there's so many women in leadership that are saying, "No, it actually doesn't need to be that way at all."
yeah.
You know? Um,
It's so beautiful actually, like, to invite that in, and in the beginning, I think our logical mind takes us out from wanting to believe it, and I see like, even just yesterday, I was reading a post about someone that's saying, like, you can't just visualize your way to success, and all the coaches that say that it's, like, no work, and that's I don't believe that, like, anyone's actually saying that. We work like, I take action, I work, don't get me wrong, like, and I prioritize how I'm feeling, and I don't do things like spin my wheels just taking action because I think I have to, and I think that's the difference. I used to work for the sake of work and, like, and it really felt like I was spinning my wheels. That's what we get to stop. We get to stop all the things that we think we have to, that we bought into. Like, who says, "Let's make our own rules and find joy in it and take action that's inspired, that actually will create greater results because now you're lit up to do it and no one can stop you to do it." But,
yeah.
like, I think it's
Yeah.
a different mentality, different mindset around it.
Yeah, I agree. Um I wanna ask you a bit around, like, the identity shift component, like, you often you hear women talking about changing your identity and shifting your identity of who you wanna become and embodying that, and I really find that most people don't give a tangible, constructive answer
Mm.
to, like, break that down, so it really just, at the end of the day, sounds woo-woo.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, what does that mean? And so I would love for you to take us down that journey of a few steps of what needs to happen in order to truly operate and shift your
I
identity.
love this question because this is my jam because nothing
Yay.
drives me more crazy than to hear a philosophy and then, like, have no idea how to actually apply it to your life. So, yes, thank you for this. And I also wanna say, like, for those of women that are listening, and I know we're gonna get to the Shae, but this is exactly what momentum's all about. Like, the women are gonna come in one version of themselves and leave another through experience, through tangible, like, we're gonna walk them through this. So and through a one day. So you'll literally be able to transform in a body. But here's the thing. So it's gotta happen first on paper. And you've got to be able to build a vision of the woman that you're becoming. And I tell people that for me, it felt like I was creating a character, like you would create a character in a book or a movie, right? You'd write her. And so I was quoted once as saying, "Write her," and then I became her. I don't believe that it's like a creation. I believe that you're remembering who you truly are, but to explain the process to logical women on what to do, it is a creation. So you're gonna take pen to paper and think about, what is your goal? What do you want in life? What is that vision? And what version of you, like, who are you living that? And we know that the version of you right now is not the version of you that's achieved the goal. Like we've heard that over and over again. So you've got to become it. And that's the whole reason for you to desire something. So I love to tell women to 10x their income in their mind. So let's say you're earning $50,000 a year. We're going to make that 50,000 a month. So 5,000 a month to 50 and make it a big jump because that's how you perceive the identity shift. Dan Sullivan has a great book, 10X is easier than 2X. And that's the reason that the shift's got to be so obvious. So you don't know what it's like now to earn $50,000 a month because you've never done it. But you can imagine, just like you imagine when you were a little girl or a little boy and you imagine being a ballerina or an astronaut. We went into our mind and we imagined what that would be like. So you're going to do the same thing and take pen to paper and create the script. Now, it's important that you remember that we are spiritual beings living on 3 planes. We've got our spiritual plane, we've got our thinking or our intellect and our feeling plane, and then we've got our physical plane. So address all of these. So, for example, what would you be thinking? 50,000 a month compared to 50,000 a year, you're going to have different thoughts. You're going to have different thoughts about money. You're going to have different thoughts about your career. And then how do you feel? How do you show up in the world? How are you speaking to yourself in your own mind? Then on the physical plane, how do you dress? What's your posture like? How do you meet and greet people? How do you speak? And write down everything that comes to mind. And now you've got your character on paper. And as you have it on paper, you can start to imagine it in your mind, right? And then from there, now you can embody it. It's just like an actor is given a script for a character. They have to be able to read something, see it, and then they have to practice being that version of them. And you're not going to be perfect, and you can have lots of cues or ways to trigger yourself back into character. And that's a lot of the work that we do is I help people, I create a community so that people are held accountable to that next level version of them. I have a lot of systems in place so that they can unfold, like the tools and the gifts from within can unfold, because that's what the next level is all about, is you becoming more of you, releasing all the bullshit that's in your mind. And it's such a beautiful process, but you're right, it's not really understood.
Completely. And I love that you have said a couple times, you already are her, like, and I say often in different ways when we're talking about this topic that it's really about awakening her and allowing her to come out. Like, you already are her,
Bingo.
and sometimes for some women too, it's really a becoming, like coming home to self. Right? And then others, it's needing to remember, like, we're coming home, we need to remember, we need to awaken her, like, kind of three different mindsets, around that. But
Yeah,
I
and
love
it feels like it's all of it, doesn't it? It feels like it's
I agree.
all of that, and at different stages of the remembering, of the awakening, like, you're gonna, I think, resonate with different ways of explaining the process. But we're explaining something that is ultimately, like, your growth.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Hey, friend, if this conversation is speaking to you, please do me a quick favor. Hit that subscribe button and leave a review. It's how we grow the show, reach more women, and build a future where wealthy is female. This isn't just content, this is an invitation to a new society for women. Let's rise and build it together.
One thing that I think is really important about just even the tangible example that you gave is that sometimes when I hear people explain this, it's like really heavy on strategy.
Mhm.
Others, it's like really heavy on visualization or like manifestation. And this really kind of brings both together.
Yeah.
And that there's a good balance. One of the things I want to ask you in continuing just what you said is, how do you help women do that around aligned action
Hmm.
and energetic alignment?
Yeah, okay, what a cool question. So, here's the thing, Shay, like, I had to understand it for me.
Mm,
That's why I think there's so many components to the work that I do, because I'm was such a good student. I was so curious to find out what happened to me, and then and I wanted to understand it so that I could show other women how to do it. And so I spent so many years with Bob Proctor and actually being mentored by him. I just picked his brain. I was like, why does this work? Like, you got to tell me like what's happening. And then I would then go apply it to my own life and then work with clients. And it's been 10 years. And so then seeing what explanations land with certain people. And so I just wanted to bring that back because I think that's a big part of being embodied in our work. Leaders like you and I, we actually try on our work. We're like a good student of our work, right? And there's a huge difference in that than someone that's maybe went to school or read a book and are sharing what they've read. Mine's lived, mine's experienced. And I know that you're the same in your work. So the big difference between embodiment, there's aligned action, which means that you are aligned with your goal achieved self versus the version of you that shows up on a regular day-to-day basis. So we have a programming, and that programming has you habitually doing the things you're doing, saying the things you're saying, thinking the way you're thinking. And that action and that way of being is going to get you the same results. Same thing over and over, right? If you want to be with aligned action, you want to align your action with your goal or your vision. And that I like to use incremental incremental steps. So that's why we 10x, not incremental growth, but like let's 10x your income and have action that's aligned with that reality, with that result. And again, it's not just the physical action, but it's also your aligned belief system. So again, we operate on all those three levels. So aligned thoughts, aligned feelings, and then aligned action in that. And they have to be congruent. It's like I see it in a line, and I see your thoughts in your conscious mind, your feelings in your subconscious, and your action in your body. And that's all in aligned with the result that you desire. And one component out. So let's say, I'll give you a tangible example. Let's say now let's go back to the goal of $50,000 months, right? So at $50,000 months, could we agree that money feels easy or easier? Yeah. So how would you be shopping at the grocery store at $50,000 months? Would you be coupon cutting?
No, you just take what you want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is where a lot of people get out of alignment. They might be shopping through the grocery store saying to themselves, I'm thinking I'm in abundance. I'm in prosperous. I'm $50,000 months. I feel prosperous. And then they go through the grocery store and they are choosing bananas because they're on sale when they really want raspberries. And the raspberries are literally $2 more. It's not going to break the bank for you to buy what you desire. And so I'm not telling you to go and buy a Louis Vuitton handbag right now. What I'm saying is in your everyday life, shopping at the grocery store, deciding what you're going to eat at lunch, be in alignment with the goal achieved. And practice that in your everyday life in those little examples. That's what means being in alignment with your goal achieved self is. And then energetic alignment is very, very similar, but I like to bring it one step further and think about who are you really, like as an extension of source, and can you be in alignment with your highest version of you, that highest truth, and have like a God's eye perspective or a higher self perspective, and have beliefs from that place. And so an example of that would be, let's say you're noticing a comment on the internet, or I mean, there's a lot of things going on in our world and it's very easy to judge. In my opinion, the higher self doesn't judge, that there's nothing wrong here. And so could I, in my alignment with my highest self, my highest truth would be, there's nothing wrong here. Everything is as it is. The human me can judge and say there's right and wrong. Can I have a different perspective and trust? And so that's what that for me, that's what alignment is, in that higher self alignment, that energetic alignment.
I love the description and the examples between aligned action and energetic alignment. I would love to, and I wasn't even planning on having this conversation with you around your highest version, highest self, highest truth.
Mhm.
This is another very woo-woo phrase that sometimes for people you get really lost with, like, what is that?
Mhm.
Um, can you just shed some light on, like, what does that look like? And for somebody who maybe is hearing this for the first time and can
Yeah.
relate, being like, "Yeah, I've heard that, but I don't know what my highest self is. I don't know what that even looks like." Um, can
Yeah.
you elaborate on that?
Yeah. I get it. I can relate to being in that place. And for me, it's having a different perspective. So and I've said this, and this even might sound woo woo to people listening, like the fact that we exist on different planes. Like it's very easy to recognize we're on the 3D physical plane because we have our body. This is like a desk and it's a very real desk, you know? And so it's easy to see the 3D world. And here's the thing, as humans, we were programmed to live through our senses. And so we judge our reality by what we hear, smell, taste, touch. And that is reality, quote unquote, reality to us. But I just want to open up and invite the listeners to that there's actually like there's other things going on more than meets the eye here. Could you get on board with that idea? And maybe not everything you can see. And just because you can't see it doesn't mean that it isn't here. And that's what I was talking about, those other realms. So there's other dimensions. So fourth dimension's time. Fifth dimension is that spiritual realm, and it's where a lot of us go when we visualize or meditate, and there's dimensions beyond that, but I like to play in those three because I find like it's easier for our human mind to understand. And I think, and I have the belief of who I am and who you are, Shae, is you are an extension of source, and source, whatever that means to you, God, universe. And I believe that each one of us is an extension. And we've heard, we were created in the likeness and the image of God. And so I believe that to be true. And who is God? God is the creator. And you can say, who is the universe? Universe is the creator. And so we're here to do that work, which is co-create. And so then I believe that um and the listeners can take what resonates and what doesn't, but how I see it and what really resonated with me is that if each one of my fingers, and we're on film right now, if each one of the fingers, look at your hand and look at your fingers, each one of these fingers is a human being. So I've got Shae on my thumb, Danielle on the pointy, maybe listener Jen on the middle finger, and et cetera, et cetera. And the part of us that you can see is the smallest part of us. So us in the body would be my fingernail. It's the smallest part, but it's the thing that we think. And so if you just see the fingernail, we'd see that each finger is separate. But really, the finger is attached to the hand. And and the finger you would say is an extension of the hand. And so as a human, a spiritual being that's infinite, having a human experience, my human experience would be my nail, and I'm an extension of source, and source would be the hand and all that there is. And so there's many, many, many fingers, and you from there can see that we're all one. We're all an extension of the one thing. And so I'm not sure if I'm answering your question, but like for me to have that higher perspective is to have a perspective from the one's view, the creator's view, the universe's view in
I
that
love that.
5D world. And in the 3D world, there are rules. There is right and wrong and good and bad. But from that higher perspective, we've got laws like there's no right or wrong. Everything just is. It is what it is. And so then we start to take things out. In the physical world, we've got the law of opposites: hot, cold, right, wrong, up, down. But up there in the 5D, there's no opposite. Everything just is. And what is? It's love,
Mhm.
in my
Yep.
belief. And so then,
Yep.
so what the invitation then is to have, can you have a perspective and again, go into your imagination and say, okay, if I was God or the universe looking down on this human experience, how would I view it? and not from a judging God. I believe that a judgment God is one that's been programmed by humans. I don't believe that that's true. And so, but from that infinite experience, what changes? There's a great book. Have you read Little Soul in the Sun by Neil Donald Walsh? It's a kid's book.
No.
Okay. It's a kid's book, and it is a great short story, how it explains how we like come to earth and how other people interact with us and how it's all in agreement and how nothing's wrong here because we're all just love.
Right. I love that. I
Did
love
that
that.
answer your question? Or am I like just
No,
confused?
no, it does. I think it gives parameters around this conversation, and um I and you did say love, like that is part of your highest self is when you're in full expression of love.
Yeah.
And I do think that that is the main purpose and driver here, right? To be love and light. And another addition around being your highest self is when you can accept the as is and say, I need nothing, I seek nothing
Yeah.
because, I'm whole. When we are whole, there's nothing that we need,
Yeah. Yeah.
because
That's
you
so good.
just are. And so I would just share that in addition to everything you said. And it's challenging. It's a daily practice as well, right? Like where you are dying to self, but it is a decision and a daily reframework of going, no matter what you're facing in life, I need nothing, I seek nothing, I am whole, accepting the as is and to embody love in every situation.
Yeah, I love it. I love
You
it.
know?
And then to recognize like actually how powerful you are and that we were gifted with these mental faculties to be able to create the life that we desire. Like we were gifted with that ability. And I used to hear like my mentor Bob, used to say, like, notice how animals they are at home in their environment. So they are camouflage but humans, we stick out. Why? Because we're meant to create our own environment. And we were gifted the mental faculties to be able to do that. And that's what manifestation is. That is what the law of transmutation of energy is. And but yet we're not taught how to use these faculties in school.
Yeah. So true.
Mhm.
It's so true, which is why we need more people like you
Thank
who
you.
are, teaching this work. It's so powerful. And the irony of it is, especially now today with the internet, like
Mhm.
so much of this is just available to us, like obviously if you want to really master something, you want to have a major shift in life, then you should hire somebody like yourself, like I have a coach for so many things in life, right? Like there's a coach for every different like area of expertise. But it is available to you, and um creating that life that not only that you envision, but understanding you're actually like worthy of that life
Oh my gosh, totally.
and that you deserve it. I think you would agree, just based on some of the things you have said. Um, you know, I've often said that women look at making money or abundance as a luxury, right? It's
Mm.
something that is not a commodity that's for the masses. It can be, it's not. Um, but the opportunity is available to people. And so, I always say that like wealth in the version of the true spelling of wealth, but also in how I spell it as well, in combining wellness and, financial wealth together, it's your birthright. Like,
Completely.
yeah.
I I actually say, in a lot of my signatures, abundance is your birthright. It's on one of our cards, and to expect abundance is how I end a lot of my emails. You don't have to do, again, it goes back to do. You don't have to do anything to be worthy of it. Doesn't matter where you grew up, where you went to school, what job you have, how hard you work. You are worthy because you are worthy because you were born, and there's nothing to prove. And I believe it's our natural state, just like our health. Like when you get a paper cut, this was the best way it was ever explained to me. When you get a paper cut on your finger, do you have to go tell it what to do to heal, or does it
Mhm.
just heal?
It just
Just
does it.
heals because it's our natural state to be healthy. Same thing to your point, it's your natural state to be wealthy, like money-wise, prosperous-wise.
Yeah.
It's just all the programming that we've allowed ourselves to believe that blocks it.
Yeah.
We, like, let that go, and we get to make up our own rules and to remember that we're the creator of all of it, and nothing's a coincidence.
No, my goodness. Not at all. Completely divine intervention. Like everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, and I love thinking about that, like, so if we can even slow down for the listeners for a minute, like, there's no coincidence that they found this conversation. So take a moment and notice what tickles you, like what lights you up, because there's something there for you to go deeper on, and which will lead to like the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And it's all for your beautiful unfoldment of life and growth. I love looking backwards and connecting the dots. Like even Shae, how you and I met and we were like kind of laughing about like all the things that have happened in this glorious coming together. It's like there's no question we were supposed to meet.
Yeah. I agree. Very much so. And even today, like this conversation, it's like I know on the other end, and we talked about it, that this conversation is going to have impact and transformation on somebody else's life. And that to what you're saying, there's no coincidence that we got brought together for a reason.
Yeah. And I'm a believer, like, and we could see it even in our path. If it wasn't through our beautiful friend Anna introducing us, it would have
Yeah.
been at the event we were at on Saturday, or, like it's just the universe is always conspiring, but conspiring to what is what you want to ask. It's like if you are wishy washy and you're not clear on what you desire, then you're going to get wishy washy results. But if when you become clear and declare who you are and state what it is that you desire because you're worthy of it, just because you desire it, as you do that, then behind the scenes, like you start attracting all these beautiful things to make it happen. And sometimes it happens relatively quickly, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer. And just trusting that everything, life's always happening for you. Even in the worst of it, it's happening for you.
I agree. And I mean, that is a major mindset shift as well, right? Like when you can get to a point in life and understand that life is happening for you and not to you, everything that is hard, painful, challenging, you have a different perspective of what do I need to learn? What do I need to heal? What is the lesson that is going to make me stronger or that I needed to come out of this, and allowing pain and challenges to be your teacher as opposed to going into victim mode of, oh, why me? Like, woe is me.
Yeah, I
Right.
was such a good victim.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
played that so well. I'm
Yeah.
like an expert victim.
I love that.
Yeah. I was like something I really had to give up. And I still find it hard. Like, yeah, and I still question, I'm right now in the middle of a
Mhm.
divorce that I would love for it to I can see an amicable split, which I have no evidence of that happening at right now. It's been 2 years, and I'm like what you say, changing the lens that it's happening for me is so powerful, and it's one that I've got to consciously choose because it doesn't always come easily,
No,
like being
no.
super honest.
But this is the importance of understanding and having these type of tools and what I call like the life box,
Mhm.
because if we operated our life from feeling, many of us would not be successful, healthy, right? Like you wouldn't even maybe even have a job, some people, right? Like if you did what you felt like doing or how you felt, that's the wrong compass in life. Like you have to be able to and feel it. It's not to say that what you're going through, like you should walk around being like, oh, everything's a rainbow. Like, I'm going through hell or this really hard time. You're mentioning your divorce. Like it's not easy. And feel what you need to feel. Like that's a real emotion.
Mhm.
That's, real life. And then look at yourself in the mirror and say, thank you for whatever I'm going through. I don't know why yet, but you're going to live your way into the answer eventually, you
And
know?
I keep telling myself, I'm like, some days are so can I swear? Fucking bad.
Yeah.
Like, so bad that on the other side of this, I'm gonna be such a fucking badass. Like, watch out, world. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
You know, and that's when you allow your mess to become your message. You have your pain turns into purpose, and my partner and I were just going out for a walk earlier today because it's so beautiful out. And we were having this very conversation. Like, actually, and I don't mind saying this on the podcast because I'm going to speak it into existence. One of my takeaways from Saturday is about writing a book. Okay. It's been on my thing for a very long time, like 10 years, 12 years. I've had people being like, you need to write a book. You need to write a book.
Okay, did you hear that, everybody? We're putting
Yeah,
keeping Shae accountable. This book is coming out
right.
2026. Yeah.
And it literally, so that's why I'm like, let me put this on the podcast. And what I was sharing with my partner is because he was saying to somebody else that they should write a book. And I'm like, never mind them. What about you? Like, you have so
Mm.
much pain that you have endured and you have overcome. You could write a whole book on every different section of pain or trauma that you've gone through.
Wow.
And how powerful when you come out on the other side of that, just to bring this back into alignment with our conversation and hearing you saying that, being a badass, it's like when you come out of it, you're like, I can do anything. If I could get through that, that was fucking hard, painful, all of the things. And you come out on the other side of that so much stronger and feeling like you can do anything because you actually can.
Yeah. Yeah, and the tools developed during the time, like, none of it is a coincidence. It's all
No.
happening for me so that I can lead in a different way, and same for the listeners. So, whatever you're going through, and I like, Shay, how you said, "Don't bypass the emotions." Like,
Mhm.
we feel the feelings, and I've got a coach who helps me witnesses me in the screaming, in the crying, like, I just
Mm.
because I found that I was bypassing, to be honest, so I call her up, I'm like, "Okay, it's one of those days. Come
Yep.
over, hold space because I need to lose it here." Like, it doesn't make sense. And so the emotions are being literally transmuted into power.
Yeah.
And that's taking responsibility. And what I want to invite the listeners to do here, it's not that the hard things don't happen. In fact, it's when that's how the diamonds are made. It's like under the pressure, so
Totally.
we know that. And at the same time, I don't want to manifest the problems all the time. Like, I can rise without being the phoenix burning. And at the same time, when they do come, it comes because I know that I'm made for it. I know that I'm made to go to the other side. I'm made to go deeper, or else it would not come to me. And I trust in that fully.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, I can resonate with you on that so much. It's like, I don't need to burn down to be the phoenix rising. It's like, yep, I've learned the lesson. We don't need to keep having all of these things happen,
Yeah,
you
I'm with
know?
that.
Yeah, 100%. And as you were talking, one of the books that kept coming to mind is, The Body Keeps the Score. And just the importance of having that release, whether it's a person that you mentioned, that comes over and actually holds space for you, or just vomit writing, like getting it, you need it, purge it from your system. And that's why I'm like, feel what you need to feel and then move on. And depending on how hard or the depth of pain that you're going, like I've gone through certain things in my life where it's catastrophic and you're like, I'm crying all day or I'm upset all day or whatever it is. But at some point, you need to start moving forward. Forgive as well, really big component to being able to heal self, not
Mhm.
even the other person, to release yourself. But then I would be like, I'm only allowing myself 5 minutes today or 10 minutes today to cry, to feel it. And then I need to shift my energy. I need to shift my mindset so that you aren't falling victim to the situation, and you can become the victor, the one that is rising above, but it's so easy. I think even as like women, especially if you're like, a single mom or solo parent,
Mhm.
it's like you've got to be strong all the time because you've got a business to run, you have a little person who's looking up to you, and that's there can be a lot of pressure around that. And so you need to find ways to have these outlets and give yourself permission to have the raw and real
Yeah.
take place, right?
And to have good support around you. Like,
100%.
it's
Yeah.
so, like, allow yourself to receive.
Yeah.
People wanna help
100%.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I want to shift a little bit. I want to ask you, um, for women who are feeling like they had this call to go deeper, bigger, and they're hesitating to act. What do you say to that woman who knows that she is meant for more, but she's afraid to trust that calling?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I wanna give a little bit of a like a rant, the truth is you have one life to live, and I want you to think about when you go to the end of that life, if you continue doing and living and the way that you are, when you know you're made for more, I've and how would you feel? Like, would you have any regrets? And if the answer is yes, I want you to jump jump and trust the net will appear and make sure that you get people around you to support you, whether that is um, groups like both Shae and I are involved in, other women who are going after things. There are lots of communities out there. There's mentorship, there's coaches, there are people to support you, and both paid and not paid. So, like, it doesn't always mean that you're putting money down. There's lots of resources, but I want you to really think about that. This is one life in this body, and allow that to inspire you. I what I've learned, and this has become so abundantly clear, especially recently in my life and over the past couple of years with some of the losses that I've experienced, tomorrow is not promised. And I thought I had about a week ago, I thought I had more time with a person and they didn't. And there are regrets, and I know he had regrets. Don't be one of those people. Stats show that over 90% of people, when they come to the end of their life, they leave this planet, this physical body with regrets. That does not have to be the way. And you've got a choice, and there's no other better time than now. Today's the youngest you'll ever be. You're fully resourced. There's nothing more than you that you need. It's not more money, more time. Don't wait till your kids graduate, blah, 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 blah. Now, act with right where you are and take a step and I would say, like, go as far as you can, like, stretch that elastic band until it's about to break, then regulate your nervous system and go again and find other people that are doing it too.
I love that. I love that. I'm like, everybody just take a moment and like have that soak in. I feel like this is a really good opportunity for you to give an invitation. You have an event coming up in April. And, for the woman listening who's like, yeah, but I don't know the community. I don't know where to look. We've given some great tangible tools today that you can do at home. But community is a really big piece, collaborating with other women. Like, we are in that era where we win when we rise together, and supporting women. And you've got an event that's coming up that's beyond the hashtag, beyond the kitschy phrase, right? Your whole event is designed, if I can say your words that you said, a collaboration over competition. So share with us what you have coming down in the pipeline.
Amazing. Thank you for the opportunity. So it's called Momentum. It's April 15th here in the Toronto area, just in Hamilton. And this is the self-image edition. And so the idea is that the woman comes in one version of themselves and leaves another version. And how I promise to fulfill on that is we have 3 floors that have been carefully designed to create the breakthrough. The top floor is a summit, so a traditional summit with theater seating. We'll have people on stage sharing tools as well as their stories so they can be an example of women who have transformed the before and after. And we also have on that stage healing and activations to help you embody the transformation. The second floor is all about experience. And so you'll go in to pods with experts, either one-on-one or small groups, and you'll have an experience that will address one part of your self-image or your identity. So for example, there's photographers, there are makeup artists, there's hair, there's nervous system regulation, there are and et cetera, et cetera. So you'll go in and they'll actually help you transform on those levels that we talked about, your mindset, your emotional and your your physical self. And then the other floor is the collaboration over competition. And this floor is a very curated space. One thing that I know to be true is we go to these events to find like-minded people that we can then come together and go to on business adventures or collaborate or exchange ideas. And most importantly, to keep ourselves accountable. So on this floor, it's curated. There's breakout sessions, there's masterminding, there's accountability, and you'll come together and you'll leave with an accountability partner, someone who will keep you accountable to staying in that new character, that new version of yourself that you created through the summit. You'll leave with, if you're have podcasts and you want to find guests or you want more visibility for stages, we've got that. We've got someone helping with leadership development, finance, like all of these different pieces, and it's all carefully curated so that you'll leave with those connections. Um, it's a
Do you
long,
have to be a business owner?
pardon me.
Do you have to be a business owner?
You don't. We have people that are coming that are C-suite executives. What we say is that you are a woman that's ready to take responsibility for their next level, and
I
that
love it.
you're willing to show up as your goal achieved self. And we're going to coach you on what that means when you get your ticket, and that you're willing to play full out. And so if you are a woman that usually goes to an event and hides, we want to know that, because we're going to actually help you to do the opposite, to step out, and it will be uncomfortable. We're going to hold space for you. And so it's very interactive. I don't believe that there's an event like this in our area. I come from event planning, so it's been a dream of mine
Yeah.
to do something like this. My team's going bananas because logistically it's like, how are we going to pull this off?
Yeah.
And the people that are coming to the table to help and to promote it, like you, Shae, are just like, they believe in the vision. And we're going to need a space for 200 people next year, because
I agree.
yeah.
Well, when I first heard about the event, I agree with you. I have never heard of an event that embodies all of these different modalities, business principles, coaching, all at one event. It's usually one or the other that you're going to that event for. So I'm really excited to attend. And tell us, where can we get tickets? And I also know too, you got a special um, discount code, which I kind of say like a gratitude code for anybody that is listening that wants to attend in April.
Well, we'll put the link in the show notes. I think that's best. And then Shae, I know you're going to be there. And so for everyone that wants to meet Shae, we're going to track who's coming on listening. So Shae's going to have her own code, and it's going to be Shae Guest. And
Amazing.
so you'll be able to get 10% off with that code. And we'll make sure that Shae's community is recognized at the event. And we look forward to celebrating you.
I love that. How can the audience connect with you outside of the event?
The best place is Instagram. So at the Danielle Amos, you'll notice when you start coming into our world, we've got Mandy, the ManyChat bot. She's going to send you some value right off from the beginning. And then it's always me that comes in there and asks about your goal. Or if you got a question about something you heard on today's episode, come in and ask me. And I'm happy to riff and voice note you back and answer. It might take me a couple of days, but that's why we got good old ManyChat in there. And I love interacting with people.
I love that. Danielle, thank you so much. This has been so amazing, so much fun too. We've got the drill, at least not anymore. But thank you for your time and being here today. And I can't wait to see you in April.
Thank you. Me too. And this has been so fun. And like, good on us for powering through.
Right?
It was meant to.
Yeah.
If something in today's episode resonated with you or sparked a shift, tag me on IG or send me a DM. I genuinely love hearing what lands for you. And if it spoke to you, share it or leave a quick review. It helps more women find this show and step into their own wealthy era. Until next time, lead with purpose, live with intention, and stay wealthy.